You've read the video title, so you already know what this video is about. Elite Dangerous Odyssey has once again been delayed. Now, this news was released to the official forums and was also released to the financial markets as a part of a news release under UK financial laws. So, what does this all mean? Well, it means the release for Odyssey has been pushed back and is now going to release in phases. The PC and console releases have been separated out. The PC release is coming in late spring according to the forums. The financial news release comes a little bit more specific, with saying that Odyssey will be released before the 31st of May. The console release, meanwhile, is being pushed all the way back to autumn, so that is going to be a particular hit for console players. Now, the good news, if there is any, is that the alpha will still be coming before too much longer. Alpha for PCs will be releasing during early spring. No specific dates here, but based on the astronomical seasons which Frontier usually follow, this means that spring begins on the 21st of March. So basically, I'm expecting to see the alpha in April. Although Frontier are calling this an alpha, it does seem to be more in line with what most companies tend to call a closed beta. Now, some of you may well remember that when Odyssey first went onto the Steam store, that the release date of mid-April, I think it was mid to early April, was actually mentioned by Steam. That was very quickly removed, so it seems that it's very likely Frontier have known about this for a while. Again, that's just speculation on my part though. So this, of course, definitely is very disappointing news, although I can't say I'm surprised by it. It's kind of expected at this point. And yes, it's all very much related to COVID and the restrictions or the difficulties of having to work from home. Frontier is based in the UK, it's over here in England, in Cambridge, and as some of you may know, especially those of you who live over here, lockdowns have been particularly difficult here in England. There has been 3 in total. We're currently in the middle of the 3rd one right now. And even outside of national lockdowns, there's been some particularly difficult restrictions, essentially preventing people from leaving the house except for certain circumstances, and these have been in place since November for many people. The current national lockdown isn't set to end until March, and even at that point it's only up for review, so it may continue a while longer. Why am I talking about the lockdowns? Well, yes, developers, software developers, game developers can of course all work from home. But even still, there's bound to be some difficulties, although Frontier haven't gone into the specifics of exactly what those difficulties and challenges are. Some of them will seem pretty obvious though, and let's not forget that right now all the schools are also shut here in the UK, which also brings some added challenges. Developers, after all, do have families as well. Whichever way you cut it though, the net result is that Odyssey is once again delayed. For PC players, this is a relatively short delay of just a few months. For console players, it's going to be a pretty significant delay, taking them towards the end of the year. So yes, I'm certainly very much in line and understanding with your frustrations there. Now, I don't know what this means for the news releases for Odyssey, with things such as dev diaries and other information that Frontier have been highlighting. I'm trying to find answers out on this. Frontier haven't got back to me just yet, but hopefully we'll have answers later on in the day. I'll try and put an update out if that actually happens. Meanwhile, there is some additional news from Frontier's financial report, or their financial news release. During 2020, Elite Dangerous hit its highest ever player numbers. That was shortly after the release of Fleet Carriers. That was the update that came out around about Easter of last year. It then had multiple higher occasions of higher player numbers, including the highest, which was just before Christmas, and that of course was after the Epic Store release. Elite Dangerous has sold 4 million copies in total of the base game. That's quite a significant number. And then Elite went and released on the Epic Store. This added another 8 million copies of the game. Now do keep in mind, most of you will remember that this was free for a week during that period, so I fully suspect that most of those initial 4 million copies that were originally sold also went out and got a second copy. But even if you say every single person, every single of those 4 million original owners went and got a second copy, that would still mean an addition of another 4 million players. Either way, in total, there are now 12 million Elite Dangerous copies out there. So then, that's where we are right now. Good news, I suppose, on the amount of copies sold. Not so great news on the delay of the update itself. Hopefully, we get more information later in the day or maybe later in the week on what this means for the Dev Diaries and other Odyssey news. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys and girls next time.